Welcome to Botches Offroad. Join us as we talk about everything from gear reviews to trail stories, tent camping to rock landing, and all things to do with the outdoors. Today we got our full group here. We got Alex, Mark, and I. And I think today's just going to be a little chat. I think we could talk about a little about our last weekend. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm thinking we talk about how I lost a mirror again, and I'm not allowed to have them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so last weekend we decided to go and do a little trail ride, I guess. We went out, Saturday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Left at about 11 something. It was Mark, Alex, me, and Duncan, which is another group member of Botches. And we started off over by Prairie, which is closer area to where I'm at. At least that's what we call it, is Prairie. And kind of went around there and looked for some new trails, found some cool little hills to go up and down, and then we went back over to White Cloud and went and did Skidder Hill.
That was dumb. You guys shouldn't have let me do that.
Alex did Skidder Hill, and we didn't think we were actually gonna do Skidder's Hill, but Alex said he wanted to.
Last minute, hey guys, I'm gonna do something dumb.
Literal words, yeah. And then so we did the bypass, and they gutted out the bypass to be pretty much a Subaru Crosstrek could get up that. And then, which, before it was a lot worse to where something like that might have struggled a little, but.
I bet you could take a GMC Terrain up it now.
Yeah, you could definitely take a GMC Terrain up. You could take a 2020 Toyota Sienna up there. But they did end up DNR doing DNR stuff. They end up blockading the parking area kind of up at the top of Skidder Hill on that trail. Put a bunch of wooden posts down, and I know that they did that this year because earlier this year we actually camped over there.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate because that was a cool little spot.
Hobo camp.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was just kind of we decided to stay there because Derek had been waiting out there too long. And by the time Alex's transmission cooled down to actually leave, it was pretty late. I think it was 12, 1?
Yeah. That was from my last attempt at Skidder Hill. One of these days I'll make it up.
Yeah.
What else did help for that time frame is that we took the long way around.
Yeah, someone was leading and he got us lost and went the longest way possible.
Okay, let me also say this is even if you're taking the long way, it shouldn't make your training that bad.
Oh no. The training was completely unrelated.
I was talking about the time frame.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant just putting extra work on the transmission or something. What didn't help was probably sinking it earlier and having to winch out. Although I got some really good pictures of that, so
I think it had more to do with the fact. Yeah, okay, maybe there's water in the transmission. I don't know.
Yeah,
I drained it and then I filled it back up, and then I drove it a mile, and then I drained it and I filled it back up, and I did that 7 or 8 times, and it's been fine ever since. So I think we're good.
Yeah, most likely. I think that was my first time playing anchor.
Yeah.
My heavy ass. He let me pull up in front, and then he winched onto me. So I was like, yay!
I wanted to do it this last time, but I had some beautiful trees right where they needed to be this time.
Yeah, I pulled up there. I was surprised I could get up there without slipping. Sienna's like, that snow looks pretty slick. And I'm like, yeah. Those tires do pretty well if there's any little bit of snow on the ground, but a little powder or anything like that. But
yeah, I was slipping and sliding all day on Saturday.
Yeah, well, like we were talking about earlier, you were trying to for the most part.
Yes, but
when we were
mud terrains on ice are not the greatest combo.
No. When we were over by Prairie, you were trying to kick it out, and then then something that Alex doesn't do much. He kind of slowed down a little bit and was like, maybe I shouldn't do this because this is a quick way to fuck my shit up.
Well, that's because I was hitting shit.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was hitting shit.
I hit way too many stumps.
Yeah, there was pretty tight quarters, like in some of the spots anyway, to get to where we were trying to go. And then not ever being on that trail, there were a lot of stumps sitting on the side of those straightaways.
Yeah. I put a drift wheel on my forerunner, and now I think it's a drift car. So there's that.
If it doesn't ding when you put it on, it's not a drift wheel. You have to roll it, and it goes. Ding!
It's too tall for him.
I do have a quick release for it that will do that, but the problem is it adds like 2 inches on length and puts the steering wheel like in my chin.
Well, don't ever say that 2 inches doesn't matter, huh?
I will say I went from the forerunner stock wheels like 14.5 inches, and the new one's a 13-inch wheel, and it is so much easier to get in and out of that car, and there's so much more space for the driver.
Yeah. Gosh, I think it was my first time. I was just trying to think. It was my first time wheeling with Duncan. That was the first time I've actually met him. But
really?
He was, yeah.
Oh shit, Duncan's a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was. He's the one that had that forerunner, the mud runner, or whatever.
The crawler.
Crawler.
Yeah, mud crawler, cricket.
The one that's all in pieces in my yard.
Yeah, the frame that's in your yard.
It's got the body there too.
Yeah.
Is it? I didn't see the body. Was it covered?
It's on a trailer.
It's on the trailer.
Oh.
Actually, the crawler is the reason that the trailer has 2 flat tires.
Oh.
Yes.
Did you try crawling it?
Well, when we pulled it up on, Duncan was a little too far to the right and ran up the fender well, and we didn't realize that it had bent the fender well just a touch, and it rubbed the inside of the tires raw. And that was their first trip on brand new tires too.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. I just forked out a whole bunch of money on Friday to buy new ones for it.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Someday I'll have a trailer that doesn't have fenders like that. I actually just found. So I've got 2 that I'm looking at right now. They're both wedge style. One of them's aluminum and one of them's steel. I'm kind of leaning towards the aluminum one, if I can even find it again. But yeah, so pretty soon. Yeah, stay tuned. The Botches might be getting a tow rig and a trailer.
The Botches were thinking about a little event that they might be pulling next year.
Yeah, dude.
Do we want to talk about that?
We should share. Maybe we should. No, I don't know. It's quite a ways away, and we'd be giving away all of our ideas, and it gives someone time to steal them.
Yeah.
No, we just say it's kind of like the poker event coming up. We don't have to get exact details of
that. It's similar to a poker event. We could say that, except that instead it'd be a true cryptid hunt.
Yeah. At that point, I feel like people can put it together, but I don't think anybody's gonna steal it. We don't have enough listeners.
We'll talk about it. Sounds fun. All right. So we're gonna do is we're gonna get Gavin a Grinch outfit, and we're gonna set him on top of the hill. And we're gonna get Mark a Wolfman outfit. Oh, we don't have to. He's got the beard. We'll put him on top of the hill, and then we'll make Alan look like the
Bigfoot. No, he's Bigfoot. 100%.
He's Bigfoot.
Dude's already tall. He's hairy.
So we make Derek Slenderman.
That could work.
Yep,
that could definitely work.
But no, we're gonna do some.
Yeah. No. Alex the little leprechaun.
Yeah.
We could not leave you out. You had everybody else ready. But
no, what's a Scott other than Nessie? What's a Scottish cryptid?
Well, fairy.
There's Kelpie, a supernatural water horse.
Yeah, you don't really look like a Kelpie.
The Wolvar, who is a humanoid wolf creature. Can we talk about how there's Wolfmans all over the world, and we've all just agreed that they don't exist, even though almost every culture has one?
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's the same thing with Bigfoot.
I mean, you're right.
and dragons.
Yeah. I think dragons are half and half. I really the kid in me who grew up loving dragons like wants to say that dragons might be real, but also the logical side of me also thinks that dragons could have very well been just dinosaurs that evolved through the millions of years that they were probably supposed to be extinct and survived.
So Joe Rogan actually recently had a whole conversation about this because the Today Show or something said that he believed in dragons, which he doesn't.
I remember this. I seen a video about this because he went full throttle on changing everything to
what he thinks that dragons actually was in the Middle Age time. We were starting to adventure out away from our original cities, and we were running into crocodiles and stuff that were, crocodiles, they live pretty much forever unless there's an external force, and they grow nonstop. So he believes that there were some large saltwater crocodiles that people then watched eat their friends and then assumed that they were dragons.
Yeah.
Well, I do really think, like, for instance, dodos, of course those are a lot closer when you look at the timeline, but
yeah,
I think that there is very good possibility of large lizards staying alive. I believe that there's a very good possibility that there is a plesiosaur or a Loch Ness monster.
Mm-hmm.
Every the fact of the matter is that we don't completely understand how these animals work. We have theories. We can look at their bones and look at the way that they were built and try to understand. But if you look at a lot of living creatures, things like the plesiosaur, or not, I think the plesiosaur is the fish. Am I thinking?
Yeah.
But if we look at Nessie,
so the plesiosaur is like what you would consider a long neck. I don't know what they're actually called, but the long necks that were on land,
long neck,
like from the movie Dinosaurs or whatever.
Yeah.
That dinosaur, except in the water with fins instead. They were very similar.
So, I mean, I think it's very, very possible. Yeah, I'm right. Plesiosaur, yeah, for sure. I'm kind of proud of myself as a
creationist. Oh yeah, I'll come right out and say it. I'm a creationist. But as a creationist, I believe that dinosaurs, because before the flood, I know anyone who's not a Christian is going to say I'm crazy, but whatever. Before the flood, people lived extremely long periods. We've got records of people living to be 400 to 500 years old. So I could see lizards having done the same thing, and lizards grow nonstop their entire life.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is lizards don't have, like you said, a lifespan. So as long as there is something that they can eat, a food source to sustain them, there's not really anything to stop them. So at that point in the Middle Ages, what's to differentiate between a dragon and a dinosaur and just a lizard? There's such a, and to not even know the difference, number one, from being that, that far back. I mean, it's all the same. And to have a giant flying dinosaur is not hard to believe. There's plenty of them.
Right. What's the difference between a dinosaur and a lizard? How long they live. That's really about it.
Yeah.
And during the time period that, quotations for anyone paying attention, during the time period that dinosaurs were alive, the earth was a lot warmer than it is now, which means that lizards would have lived a lot happier in a lot more climates than they do now.
Yeah. So that, and we don't have massive deforestation and water pollution and massive eradication of animals. I mean, there was a lot better food source back then. Even in the Middle Ages, the amount of food, like if you were to just think about how America looked with millions, what was it, 4 million bison before they got exterminated? I mean, could you imagine a dinosaur, any kind of reptilian dinosaur in America, Utah at that point?
Bisons are one of my favorite subjects, like things in this category, because the whole bison timeline is so interesting. So before because horses originated in the Midwest, and then they took the land bridge over to Europe, and then they were hunted out here by Native American. Well, natives. I'm not going to say Native Americans. We're indigenous people. How's that?
That's better.
So they hunted out horses, not knowing how to use them, and then they were hunting bison by hand on the ground. So the bison numbers just absolutely skyrocketed because they couldn't control them. Well, then when we brought horses back over, they now are using horses to hunt them, and they wiped them out in a matter of like 10 years.
Who is they? Indigenous?
Yep.
Was it? Or was it? I mean, so from what I know, and this could very well be not true, but we, and I say we as in the white people that were there at that time, killed a lot of them off to cut off the main food sources for indigenous people, because a lot of them moved and migrated with bison, elk.
Right. So by the time that the white man, because the Spaniards brought horses over, so that's what the indigenous people started using to hunt, and they wiped out from something like 4 million down to like 500,000 before Columbus even came over. So then by the time Columbus got here, they didn't even see bison until we went to the other side of the Mississippi.
Have to bison, very, very much check on that. Not that I don't believe you, but not that I don't believe you, but as in before I try to even say anything else in regards to that. But
so because by the time that Columbus got here, they didn't see bison until they went to the Mississippi. And they were absolutely amazed at what bison were, because they were just this huge mammal. They thought they were living dinosaurs. They thought they were mammoths.
Hey, look at that. I mean, at the same time, we go full circle back to, just what the knowledge of the people at that time knew. Yep. So, I mean, very well could have been dinosaurs, very well could have been just regular animals at that. I mean, who knows? But I mean, anywho,
just imagine being a settler, right? And you come here and everything's different. Imagine seeing an elk for the first time, man.
Well, and the thing is even at that time, when you're that far back, like what are settlers? Like, what were we saying, 1500s, 1600s?
Let's get,
because we had the French. We had French at like what, 1600? French settlers from Canada.
Quick,
because we have fur traders. Yeah,
the term dinosaur only became known in 1842.
Right.
Well, isn't that just big lizard or something like that?
I don't know exactly the exact term for it is, but
yeah. Well, that's fair too. I mean, that's very recent in human history.
Terrible lizard.
Yeah. Yep. So
yeah, Columbus got here in 1492. He got to the Bahamas. In our area,
there had to have been fur traders before that, right?
So we had some brothers exploring what's today Newfoundland in 1500, but that's the beginning.
Was that the McGlellan? Was McGlellan?
The Cordereel brothers.
Huh. But just anywho, so we're getting to that what, 1500, and imagine the possibilities of what animals still existed back then. So,
especially in an area as lightly hunted as, well, I can't say lightly hunted because the indigenous did a really good job keeping populations down here. So,
well, the thing is though, is the indigenous, even like as far as America is concerned, and what our current population is now, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Comparatively, the indigenous population was nothing. So, yes, at the same time, in these popular areas near waterways for sure. But, prehistoric elk, have you seen those? Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
Could you imagine seeing one of those? And there's very possible that those were around at that time.
So there were about 54 million people, pre-Columbian, 54 million indigenous people in the United States and Canada.
Right.
So compare that to today. I'm going to look up population of North America. That'd be an even better way to.
Yeah.
About 592 million people. So that's a lot of freaking people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's like 10 times the amount of people.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's pretty crazy to think that cryptids aren't a thing at the same time. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
or
circling, back to
because
right.
I'd say that
possible
maybe
they
now,
could be dead now.
Right.
I think though that if we think about what like the origin type animal that these cryptids are originating from and how many years they've had to adapt and evolve, the same way that we have had years to adapt and evolve, but differently.
Mm-hmm.
So Bigfoot, for instance, why couldn't it evolve to have a higher form of camouflage or the hair on a Bigfoot resist any kind of thermal detection? It's had years and years to work on this. To me, it's just not that hard to believe. And there's too many signs. There's too many origin stories all around the world at periods where they haven't been talking to each other. There's
Right.
no way that you could hear stories from, one part of the world from the other and have that, coincide with each other. So
I would be really interested. So even today, we've got tribes that are cut off from the rest of the world. I'd be interested to hear what their cryptids are.
Mm-hmm.
I would guarantee that there's that maybe which their cryptids are probably very. It's like looking into indigenous tribe gods.
Yeah.
It's probably very similar, but I would say 60 to 70% of their cryptids are explainable by modern science,
right.
Or that big light in the sky that makes weird sounds and it shines down on you, and then okay, that's a helicopter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Right. Or the big silver bird in the side, in the sky. We call it the Thunderbird. That's a 747.
Yeah,
I could hear it screech for miles and miles.
It's a warthog.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it makes calls. It makes calls. like, I mean, at some point, there's a tribe out there that's like, what the fuck? Like, there's been stories of tribes the first time they've ever seen a white person, and they're like touching them, grabbing their hair, like what the hell? So, I mean, it's cool stuff. Cryptids in general are really cool. Very cool concept to think about. We could talk about that all day. But the whole thing about that is that I hosted a cryptid hunt this last year, and it was fun. It was nothing really crazy. We did some trails, but obviously we didn't really find anything. We weren't really trying. We didn't even go out at night like we originally planned to, because we did probably a 10-hour trail ride that day. So we were all pretty pooped. And, we were talking about it. I was thinking about it before. I brought it up to Alex while we were out trail riding Saturday. And I'm like, dude, what if we made it kind of like a game, like a scavenger hunt? And we make cutouts of these cryptids and we place them throughout, a stretch of trail or a stretch of trails. Paint them black, put on the other side, hey, don't take this, it's for a contest. And then put like stickers on the back and like a tin or something that people can collect.
Mhm.
And then, as I was offline, I was thinking, I was thinking about what we were saying, doing the sticker thing would be cool because you could put it on your truck. So yeah, we
Right.
did it. And then if you collect all 5 stickers, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, why don't we make them body parts? Because he could be like, Exodia. Like, let's get all 5 parts of the Bigfoot, and then you could get the head in one, you could get the arms in each other, you could get a leg in 2 others, and I was just thinking about that. I'm like, that would be kind of fun because then you could show that you did the whole trail,
Right.
or the whole part.
Have like individual stickers for each cryptid, and then if you get all, say, 5 cryptid stickers, then you also get a cryptid hunt sticker.
Yeah, something like that. So, but then I was like, okay, we could do like 5 parts of one cryptid for like one trail. So like you have to get 5 cards and then you get the sticker at the end or something like that. And then we could do certain challenges that are like a whole different sticker by themselves. So like Skidder Hill, that would be a sticker on its own. That would be the Mothman. You know what I mean? Like and if you did Skidder Hill, you got the Mothman sticker, and that was something to like.
We'd have to have a person sitting there watching people do it. Well, one, because if anything happens, we need a recovery. 2, to be able to proof check people.
You would have to have video, or you would have to have some kind of proof for sure.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, I'm like, that would be really cool. And of course, you could get families and stuff in on that because you'd have to be searching these trails looking for these creatures. If we did it at night, it'd be really fucking hard, but it'd be fun.
It would be.
You know what I mean? Like we could do it so that the signs are closer to the trail instead of farther out. But I figure if we do it in the day, we could put them out like 25, 30 yards out into the trail to like try to really hide them a little bit, make it an actual challenge.
This would be a really cool like 2-day event.
And it would be cool. And I agree with that because it would be cool to do like a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like come into camp Friday. We could do, like you said, Everett or whatever.
I think it'd be awesome to do it here in Nuevo County, though.
That would be cool to bring people in, but there's no. But I think the huge challenge is there's not as many. A lot of trails.
We have lots of we have harder challenges than Everett in a lot of spots, but they're separated by road.
And that's like Everett, kind of the thing.
Yeah, because Everett's nice because it's all in one spot. Ours are like spread out a lot.
And that's the thing is like, I almost would feel better doing if we would do like a whole weekend, it to be in an area like Everett, because at the end of the day, we're the ones setting up beforehand and having to do all that extra driving and all that.
No, that
plus
Everett's a good spot to do it.
Everett or even Yuma. Yuma's not as hard, but there was some cool stuff in Yuma. So I mean, like, there's places that we could go, that would make it more. But doing like a weekend trip to where like me and you come out like, I don't know, Thursday or Friday, we run the trails and we set up and we take. I think maybe doing like coordinates, but doing like not exact coordinates. Like, hey, it's in a radius, like a mile radius of this coordinate.
Yeah, I think, or if we put it on a trail and say it's on this trail,
right? That would be good.
Give the coordinates to the trail head, and then it's on this trail. It's somewhere on this trail. You got to find it.
I could say though that even then, like group rides are going to be a thing, which is not a big deal. Like if people are riding together, it doesn't matter. I almost would rather that. That way you can recover if you need to, and I think it'd be a lot of fun doing it together as a group.
I think doing it in teams of 2 vehicles, and we'd set that up beforehand. This is your team. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then obviously we'd have to have the GMRS channel open for recovery situation, stuff like that.
I'd say if we want to do this, I'd want to do it earlier in the fall. Leaves starting to change colors.
I'm thinking like late September or mid to late September.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Change colors. Yeah. Because I want it to be warm enough that we can all comfortably, still pretty comfortably sleep. But I want to see the colors change and stuff, but not all the leaves gone. I want it to kind of be an in between. But I think it would be really cool. And I know for a fact that if we made this how we did, we'd get a lot more people out here.
Yeah.
I know a couple of the people that we trail ride from MST that would be so down. Like I know Melissa, they're big Bigfoot hunters and stuff. Like they would be down. Her whole family. She's got wife, a husband, I think 2 or 3 kids. And
she's got a wife and a husband.
That's that's what I meant. I meant to say, she's got a husband and then 2 kids. Fair. But they're really cool and they do Bigfoot hunts and stuff. And they were thinking about coming down, but it's like a 3-hour drive for them because they're down by Illinois.
Right. Yeah, I really think this is an event that a lot of people would enjoy. So it's
it's reusable too.
This could be a yearly thing.
We don't have to the same location all the time either.
Exactly. So like it could be Botches yearly, and it could be the Botches yearly cryptid hunt, and I love that. I think as much as we love doing cryptid shit and talking about cryptids, I think it would be great. And I think we need to save up for plywood because that's going to be like the biggest expense on our end other than gas to scout and do this. But we could do that throughout the summer.
Maybe stickers, depending on where we go through.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. That's the thing too, is it's going to be costly for stickers, but we could just buy like Bigfoot stickers, Mothman stickers. Like we don't have to make it. But I think at the end, like if you get all of the stickers, it would have to be custom, and we could do those from Yamber or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having the one sticker at the end that's custom, that wouldn't be hard to do.
No, or you could actually do that through our shop, through the Botches shop, because we could custom that Botches yearly cryptid hunt, and we could put some scary picture on it or something. Or
I'm going to be talking to Amber's wife soon about getting us switched over to their shop.
Oh, okay. Then that would work.
We'll do a mix because they don't offer all the products that our shop does, but I think that it would be worth supporting their business just as much as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as we can.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked about that. I think that's going to be so fun. We're going to have to make some time to scout and like decide what trails we like. So we're going to have to, next summer or, spring, we're going to do Everett. And we're just going to have to like mark our favorite trails.
Yep.
And then maybe we mark like the difficulty and then potential areas that we could put something.
Right.
And then we could drop it all. We could, Mark, we're going to need you in your pickup.
Yep.
But we could throw all the cutouts in there with like, something to hammer them in, like a rod or something, or just lean them up against a tree.
Yep.
Whatever. And then, we could set them up the night before, like Thursday night or Friday night or something, and then have everyone come up and lead it that way. But
yeah, I think that would be a really, really fun trip, and we could do like maybe, it'd just be a really fun trip.
Oh yeah, and I think as like, because my son will be he'll be almost 2. So he'll be talking and walking, and he could help us look, and that would be fun as a family.
I'll drag the nephew along.
Yeah, I mean, he could help look.
That'd be one my mom would be interested in too. So both my nephews could be there,
and she could come in the black forerunner. Like,
exactly.
I mean, and it's not like you have to take the scary stuff. Like I said, we'll do like harder trail areas will do those
Mhm.
specifically as a sticker.
Right.
Like, what do we have at Ever? I don't really know, but
Well, too bad
I
the
know
hill
we
climb
got-
shut.
Yeah. We also got the off camber spot.
You got that off camber. We got the mud area.
yeah, we could do a mud area just for Nolan. We could put like Mud Monster out there, like
A swamp monster.
Yeah.
Swamp Monster. There you go. Do the Swamp Monster sticker for the mud.
Too bad. If we did it in Nuevo County, we could do the
Pine?
drudging swamp monster or the drudging
Oh,
swamp
yeah.
witch.
Dude, I think Michigan Mega Monster is the American Chillers from Michigan.
Oh yeah. Well, isn't there a Michigan Chillers that has a?
There is. There's Michigan
Swamp.
Chillers, then he went to American Chillers as well. And for Michigan, it was the Michigan Mega Monster. It's pretty much a swamp monster.
Yeah, so I got Swamp Monster for the muddy areas. We'll do a Bigfoot. We'll do a Dogman. We'll do a Mothman. We could even do it just like a ghost or we could do Slender Man.
He's the Slender Man count as a cryptid? He's more of like an internet.
So
lore.
so if you believe that belief gives power, yeah. If you're in that type of belief system, because in the way that I kind of think about this stuff is like, even for gods, it's almost like a game, not a game, but it's a popularity contest. Like the more people believe in you, the more powerful you are.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, and to me, this is just how it makes sense to me. But like, if you think about like how Christianity got its start and how that really killed out all the other pagan religions to be the biggest and baddest, and kind of rewrote its own history in a lot of ways. I don't know. I think that it won the popularity contest, and I think that there are pagan gods. I just think that they're so weak because there's so many less people believe in them. So they're very much lesser gods by now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like even like demons and stuff like that, I think that the name gives anything power, and the more that believe, the more power it has. So if you think about Slenderman and how crazy that got for that while,
Yeah.
I mean, with my beliefs that kind of point like that, I think that there is something to it. And it's such a fine line between what is real and what's in the mind. Your mind can make things up, and your mind can feel and see things that isn't there. I don't know. So I mean, Slender Man I think is very possible. I think as far as being a cryptid, I think it's one cryptid status now, or maybe a legend status. I don't really know.
Where'd that come from? A creepypasta?
Yeah,
origin?
creepypasta. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
I can't.
you know what? That got me for a little bit too when I was younger. I was like, man, I'm looking for something tall and fucking in the trees.
I can't think of another creepypasta that got as popular as Slenderman.
There is one
No.
more. I'm trying to remember it. It's like a killer. Just the killer.
I think the scariest thing for me was Blair Witch.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I thought that was a real documentation. Like when I watched that movie, I was pretty young when I watched that movie, and apparently I skipped the part where it literally says this was filmed to look like completely missed that part. So when I was watching this, I missed that part in Paranormal Activity 1. I missed that was that was fake too. So when I was watching that, I thought I was watching all like real stuff at first. And then I was like, there's no way these people are catching shit like this. And then I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh fuck, it is fake. I said, now I feel dumb. Like, but when you're younger and you have like you believe so much in this kind of stuff, it was like, oh, that's not hard to believe. Like when you grow up watching every ghost show there is imaginable.
So I watched I can't remember the name of it, but there was one about the Paris catacombs where it was like a mockumentary, and a group of explorers, if you will, went down with a little camera, and they all got killed by some monster, and the camera was found later. I 100% thought that was true.
Yeah, okay, see? But like Blair Witch, they found the camera after, and that's like, I don't know, it was just kind of like, it was so believable. And then like, I don't know, I looked like, you go through the woods and it's like, that's not hard to believe. I see like weird, but like as I also grew up, I like started looking into pagan magics and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, some of these things you're seeing in the woods are not actually like heinous, mean things, or just protective sigils or something like that. Like, because that kind of calmed me down a little bit. I was like, oh, these are just like pagan protective symbols. Sienna won't fuck with it. She will if she sees shit like that. So we went up. One of the first times that I guess that we went camping with Sienna, Fort Escape, we went up to Two Hearted, and one of the camp spots we pulled into and had every intention of staying in, and we kind of looked around for wood on the edge of the campsite to see if it was worth staying in. We're like, is there any dead wood? Because we don't want to buy any. Like, and she saw some kind of witchy voodoo, like handmade thing hanging from the tree, and she's like, nope. She's like, we're not going here. And I'm like, honey, it's fine. I went to grab it. She's like, don't you fucking touch that thing. She's like, you stay right the fuck away from that. She's like, I don't want any of that fucking energy over out here. So we were like, we'll pick a different one. We picked a different site. Everything was fine,
I get it, dude. When I was in Korea, I had a roommate who was a Satanist, and I was going through like a really deep depression and like couldn't figure out what was going on. And then one day I walked in, and he was having some ritual in the kitchen. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm calling in my protective demon. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this.
Well, and they feed on you too. Like, especially when you're in depression. So like when I was younger, I always thought I had something dark that followed me. And I could specifically remember when I was younger, like a dark shadow, like a being following me around. And I remember a couple of times where I've had encounters with it. And so there was a point in my depression of recent times before I met Sienna where I was kind of like, dude, I think this thing was like, I think this thing might be like feeding off of me. You know, it just felt like every day got worse, and it felt like there was always something in my house, and there was like, I would breach my own fucking house, like I would breach my own fucking room door and clear my house multiple times because I felt like something was in here.
Yeah.
And I let all the lights on because every time the light was off, it felt like there was a growing darkness in a corner. And it was like, it just, when I looked over there in the corner, it just felt like the corner was quieter and darker than it should be every time. And so like, I'm like, dude, there's something fucking there. And I felt like it was feeding off me, and things just kept getting worse. And after I met Sienna, she did a lot of the fucking traditional Hispanic, like the cleansing stuff with like, like was it Palo Santo, like egg rub downs and shit like that. And I think that plus the fact that I was really happy with meeting her, and that I kind of blocked that. I started to block that energy off. I wasn't as receptive to it.
Yeah.
And now that I'm at a different spot to where I cleanse and smudge pretty frequently, to where I have protective sigils and stuff around, and I'm not worried about it as much, and I feel better. Like I don't feel that same entity, if you will.
Yeah.
But definitely
I got moved to a different room, and then it was all over after that. So,
and isn't that crazy? So I don't know if I told you this, but I ended up seeing Sienna's great grandmother.
Oh yeah, you told me the story.
Yeah. So just a quick recap, I guess, for listeners, but I was taking a piss, and there's a window right behind the toilet looking out into the woods behind the house. And I saw this, didn't even think twice about it. Just saw this old lady walking through the woods, and then it was a short, older Hispanic lady with a white, like a white shawl over her head. And I'm like, oh, it's Sienna's grandma. I wonder, she must be feeling better walking around and stuff. And so I got done peeing, and I go out to the kitchen and go, I saw your grandma. And she goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, she was walking out through the woods. And she goes, no, she wasn't. And I'm like, yeah, she was. I saw her. And then I kind of thought about her for a second. I'm like, there ain't no way she's feeling good enough to be walking without a walker after she broke her hip like that. Like, so, and I told Sienna what happened and what I saw. And she goes, that is weird. She goes, that might be great grandma. And I'm like, no. So we just went over to grandma's because we just thought it was cool. Sienna goes, hey, tell her what you told me. And I told grandma, and she kind of gasped, and she goes, oh, she goes, yeah, that's my mother. And I'm like, no. She's like, that's who you saw. You saw my mother. She goes, she was a white witch, and she practiced like healing spells and stuff like that. So she would gather herbs from an herb garden that she had in the woods, and she would walk there every day. And she goes, so that was what you were seeing, is you saw her walking into the woods. She goes, you're very lucky. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. Like it didn't feel ominous, but there's a lot of stories on that land from them because of the witchcraft and some of the they have seen like duplicate spirit, like duplicate what would you call that? What are the people that the kids that act like doppelgangers, like doppelgang spirits almost?
Doppelgangers, yeah.
I mean, to make it even worse, in our area, Ensley Center area is where most of the witches are. So like there's a lot of that over by you.
A lot of Native American burial grounds. There's a lot of spiritual energy all around. Like, so they have that, they have that. They have the doppelganger. They have a boy that will play as a boy or a girl. And they were playing tag, and I can't remember which three it was, but they were running around the house, and they were bullying Michael, the youngest brother. And Alex knows Michael, and they were kind of bullying him and chasing him around. And he's like, I've had enough of this. Like, he's crying like a little baby, and he runs to the house. Runs to the house door, and all of a sudden, they're chasing. They look at the door and they go, get him. And one of the two of the people chasing runs into the woods, and they get yelled at. They're like, don't chase that. And they turn around, and I think it was Alex. They pointed at the door, and they pointed at Michael walking through the door right as Alex was chasing Michael going into the woods.
Not me, Alex, a different Alex.
No, yes, Alex Sienna's older sister. So, and as soon as they turned back to go look at this person they were chasing into the woods, there was no one there. So, yeah, they definitely got some stuff over there, but that stuff's just so cool. I think we even got a book for that. I bought a book. I got to let you see this, Haunted Newaygo County.
Yeah, dude, I want to see that.
It's even got the Legend of Drudge and Swamp. Maybe we could do some reads on this every once in a while.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Do some reads, some cryptid reads, some scary stories to sell in the dark.
Our area has a lot of history. For the listeners that don't understand, Newaygo County is, I don't want to say one of the oldest counties in Michigan, but it has a very rich history because it sorry, someone just distracted me. But a lot of stuff happened here. I mean, Al Capone owned a lot of property here, so there's a lot of stuff wrapped around Al Capone. Mm-hmm. Very deep history with the logging. So because of that, there's a lot of like cryptid type stuff in our area, a lot of witchcraft. So witchcraft.
Yeah, for sure.
And because we're a farming community, we have a very high population of migrant workers, and they all bring their own unique stories that happen here.
Unique stories and traditions and
Yes.
witchcraft, and they have in juju voodoo stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. But yeah, we'll have to do some reading of Haunted Nuevo County. Do they have the story about the little boy on the dams in there?
Little Boy on the Dams, is that what it's called?
Little Boy on Croton Hardy, or I think it's Hardy. I think it's Croton that he's seen on.
Let's see, we have The Days of Decadence, Ghost of La Belle de la Riviera, The Riblet House, The Goodnight Ladies, The Ghost of the Indigo Inn, The Old Kimbark Inn, Guardian Spirits of the Woods, The Ghost of Manistee Forest, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness, The Ghost of Dudgeon Swamp, The Mysterious Girl in Black, The Gothic Ghost of the Trails.
The Girl in Black's the one in Nuevo, right?
Yeah, this
By
is all
the
in
school?
Nuevo County, yeah.
Oh, I meant that one. That's the one by the high school.
Oh, I don't know. 65. Yeah, I think it is. Yep.
The one that got bit by a rattlesnake in our area that has hardly any rattlesnake.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, they got Screaming Ethel, The Ghost of Whiskey Wood Hill. It says John F. Woods' house.
So I think I've heard that one before for some odd reason. Sounds familiar.
Strange Visitor, Howling Hellhound, The Night Shift, Ghost of the Old Grant Hospital. Little Fisher Boy, Ghost of the Croton Dam.
Wait, what's the Ghost of the Grant Hospital? Because my family owned that.
Let's see. Hey, look, they have the old wood. They have the old wood water tower.
Because the Grant Hospital, that's where the current old person home is. The one that right there in town. Yeah, the one right there by the funeral home.
Oh, okay.
So I bet you that ghost would still be around. I've never heard that story.
It is in the It says this unnerving story is the only one of many tales that have been told throughout the years of a former hospital in Grant, Michigan. The hospital was built in the 1940s as Grant Community Hospital and was closed in 1983 as St. Mary's Hospital and has been the site of an assisted living center since 1997.
Yep.
It says there's a whole lot of other stuff, ghostly stuff of that. It doesn't say if it was someone who died yet, but I haven't read all of it to it.
It would be going off its proximity to the funeral home. I can tell you a lot of stories. Well, I can't. There's a lot of stories from the funeral home that my family have kind of told to each other throughout the years. So it'd be interesting to know how much of that carries over into the hospital.
Yeah, it says Grant Hospital leading to a funeral home. So, yeah, it's cool stuff. Like I said, we'll have to do like reads on this at one point. It'd be pretty cool.
For sure.
We definitely do that like the month of October. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Every episode in October starts with a story of Nuevo County.
That would take a long time to read these stories. It might be like maybe we do like a 5-minute like mini-sode, like mini haunt-sode or something. Where we just one of us will narrate one of them.
Oh, dude, that'd actually be really cool. Just all of October have like maybe record them all at one time, but then drop like a few a week so the listeners have more than 2 episodes a week.
Yeah. That'd be cool, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure, dude.
Yeah, well, now we have a plan for October. We have a plan for September. We have nothing planned for next week or next month.
Yeah. I mean,
But we'll
we kinda
make it up
do.
as we go.
We have a power steering line to put on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
At some point.
I guess anyone that replaces a rack pinion, you might as well replace your holes at the same time.
Yeah. We have to put a hose clamp on the power steering boot.
Oh yeah.
So I guess that did count as a trail fail. Damn it!
I forgot to put that. Dude,
no, he just
I
forgot.
I did
the
that
mirror.
a while ago. So I've been driving that without a hose clamp on there for a while.
I think you broke it up more recently, though.
It would have been when we rebuilt it because I don't remember putting a hose clamp on there.
swear
I did them on
It
the
was
black
definitely-
truck.
It was definitely leaking.
I thought you had to do something. You took it off because you thought it might have been broken.
That was before we rebuilt it again.
I'm pretty sure
'Cause
we took it off recently, but I could be wrong.
I had to replace inner tie rods like 2 months before I broke the front end and had to rebuild it all again.
Yeah. Yep. Fun times in the first gen world.
Third gen.
Third gen, right.
But yeah, that's about our hour there. So this is a good spot to wrap her up.
All righty. Yep. Well, it was good talking, everybody. You now know our plans. Don't steal them. And we'll talk to you later.
Later.
Yeah, for sure.